Welcome to episode 112 of Curio. This week we're talking about a woman who confuses tomatoes with the Northern Lights, a man who ran a marathon in a supermarket, and Mike Tyson's butt cheeks. Alright, episode 112 of Curio.
Wow.
But it's only the third episode since we start calling it Curio.
Was that last week, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah, not
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, yeah. Let us know what you think of the new name.
And the new logo.
New logo, yeah. You haven't actually seen the proper new logo yet.
Oh.
I've only shown you hints of the new logo.
It's exciting.
But
so,
yeah,
listener and watcher.
The listeners actually know the new logo before you do. In their timeline.
Okay. Oh yeah, we've got like the Curioverse now.
Yeah.
Well, let me know how it looks. Probably by then I'll know myself.
You'll know, but
listener, do let me know in the comments.
All right, there's no Rob this week. What's he up to, George?
I'm not too sure. I'm sure it involved some form of cryptid hunting, but I don't think it was anything to do with a haircut. But you never know; it could be.
Okay, you never know. Yeah.
I think that part of the plan was that they were going to cut his hair ritually to attract some sort of cryptid in Wales. But still waiting for the information on that.
Well, hopefully he's back next week and he can tell us all what he's been up to.
Hopefully he doesn't crash his van. That's what normally happens when he goes away.
Yeah, he's only done that a couple of times. Luckily, not any of the times I've been in a van with him. Yeah, before we get into some weird news stories, I have a rant. And I was reminded of this rant by myself when I, literally just a minute ago, when I sent you the text to say, ready to record. And I said, whenever you're ready. And I used the wrong "you're." I said, Y-O-U-R. And then before you saw it, I quickly edited the message, put the apostrophe and the E there. So whenever you are ready, it made sense. And obviously, loads of people call out people that can't differentiate between the right yours or the right theirs. They're there and there, you're and your. People get them mixed up all the time. But I've started seeing a new one, and it's been pissing me off because this one I think is even more inexcusable than the your and your.
Is it use?
Use. No, and I don't mind use because I do say use.
I hate use.
I say it, but I never actually type it because I don't really know how it's spelt. I think it's just like U''se maybe. I think that's how people do it. But
yeah, I've seen it just without the apostrophe as well. It's just to me, it's just very lazy. Yeah, so YUOSE use. Yeah, use lot.
Use lot. Yeah,
so like
I'll never
Essex
type it because I don't really know how it's typed, and I know it will be one of those things that someone, if you type it, then it becomes a thing. Someone's like, he just said use. But if you say it, I don't think it's as big of a deal. But the one I've noticed recently is people not knowing the difference between then and than. Have you seen this? And if you haven't, you will start seeing it now.
Okay.
People will use then instead of than. So they'll say, Curio is a better podcast than Joe Rogan. And factually true, but you've spelt it wrong. People will say then instead of than. I don't think they do it the other way around. And I think it just comes from some people, the way they talk. If you're talking quickly and you say, this is better than this, then it kind of sounds like then.
Yeah.
But that's not the fucking word. People are and no one corrects. I see all the time, because I'm a big reader of YouTube comments. I don't ever, every video I watch.
You don't watch the video. You just read the comments.
Honestly, I watch YouTube on TV a lot, and I'll have it on the TV, and I'm just reading the comments as the video's there, side by side. And also just on Reddit and Twitter, everywhere, I see people typing then instead of than. And no one calls them out. No one. Maybe I need to be the person, because I'm not much of a contributor. I'm just a bit of a lurker. I'll read, but I don't comment myself. No one's calling them out.
You need to start doing it. I've not personally seen the then and than. It's not something I've seen. I've seen a lot of people using the wrong woman or women
Mm.
They'll say like this women.
This women.
Yeah, like on Facebook, it might be I don't know, like a thing saying especially in like the local Facebook group.
Oh yeah.
And maybe someone's like put a CCTV image up of a lady walking with their dog, didn't pick the dog poo up or whatever.
Yeah.
And all the comments will say, "This women can't believe it." Like all the classic. That's the one that really annoys me, is women versus woman.
There's a strong correlation between people that post on local Facebook pages and
stupidity,
illiteracy, like not knowing how to spell. There was one the other day, because I'm in a few of like the local ones where I live now, but also quite a few of where I used to live. And I'm sure probably you are as well, I imagine. Like you're still part of the ones from when you lived back here in the UK. And sometimes there'll be like 4 words in an 8-word sentence that's spelt wrong. This is ridiculous. But the then and the then, it's doing my head in recently. And there's no memes about it. When it was like your, and then, well, there's only 2 yours, and the 3 theirs, people call them out straight away. You see all the time. I'm like, oh, they've used the wrong there. You look at the comments, there's like 3 people that have said, it's there actually. It's there. Like telling them the right spelling. No one does it for then and then. Doing my head in.
Okay, I'm going to keep my eyes, because it's not something I've noticed. I've not noticed then and then.
I'll say, next time I see it, I'll screenshot it. I bet I'll see one by the end of the day. I'm not even going to go looking for it, because I don't know how you would do it. But I'm gonna read some comments, and I bet I'll find a then or than in some Facebook comment somewhere, or YouTube comments.
What if you found that you could get a double whammy? You could get every single one in one sentence. That would be the ultimate. You got every single thing misspelt, including woman,
and the your and the there,
and the your and that'd be great. That's like the final boss.
of illiteracy. Yeah. All right, what weird news stories have we got? We'll stop talking about English, unless your story is about words in English.
I was just checking whether I had anything. Nothing. Well, yeah, I've got a couple of like short fire. Speaking of speaking English properly, a couple of quick fire stories. So the first one is fairly recent. This is from back in October, but it just made me laugh. It's very simple. I'll actually copy it in so you can see the photo that I'm going to look about. But I think this is sort of linked to, do you remember a few months ago, at least in the UK, I think in the US as well, and across most of Europe, the Northern Lights were really visible.
Oh yeah, I got photos of that. My photo's on the screen now for anyone who wants to see my photo of Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis. So yeah, this story, this is from The Independent. The title is "Woman Left Disappointed After Northern Lights Style Aurora Turns Out to Be Local Tomato Factory." And I don't know how the lights have looked like this, but so this is a lady called Dee Harrison, and she was driving to work in Suffolk back in October, about 5 a.m. And she was left stunned when she saw the mystical glow of the Northern Lights over the skies of southern England. However, her excitement soon turned to disappointment after realising the warm magenta-coloured vista was in fact coming from the lights of a nearby tomato farm. And the picture is pretty crazy. Like it kind of looks like some photos of the aurora that you'd see online.
Yeah.
But I don't really understand what lights the tomato factory has got to make that. Yeah, to make that light.
Yeah, described as a magenta-coloured glow could be seen over Bramford, Suffolk. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the best with colours, but is that magenta? I guess so. What's magenta, like purpley, pinky?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, like, what... I didn't know you'd need big lights like that to grow tomatoes. I thought they would just grow, or they'd be, like, inside with some lights. Like, not... I didn't think they'd be outside lights.
Maybe it was like...
or is it like...
It does say...
You know when you put, like, your thumb over a torch and you can see it's, like, red... Is it all the lights are just going through the tomatoes into the sky, making this like red?
That's what
haze.
I thought. Yeah, at first, when I first read this story, I thought that was it. It was the hue of the tomato was somehow like reflecting. But I think it says further down, it says that they are the beautiful glare comes from Suffolk Sweet Tomatoes, little plug there, LED light units, which are used to encourage the growth of its stock. So maybe what's happened is maybe it was misty or foggy, and then it's it's like reflected. If it's low lying, it might make it sort of diffuse up into the sky. So I guess that's how it's happened. But for listeners, people that aren't watching, it's like a view of trees, and you can see sort of some lights along the horizon. Then there's this big sort of red, pink, purple glow sort of going up into the sky. It's in fact tomatoes.
Interesting, they have referred to it as a tomato factory and not a tomato farm.
But maybe it's when it gets to a certain level, then it's just a factory process rather than a farm, because they must be grown at like super speeds, right?
Yeah. But I think
then they like can them and all that
called
shit,
farms, even when it is those big essentially factories, I guess. Like they're all inside and they're all just like stacked up on shelves. I thought they'd still be referred to as a farm. But I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Or as a farm just for animals.
No.
Farms grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the etymology? What's the terminology of farm? Ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, I don't know.
I reckon it's if they make like canned products there as well. So if they like can them on site or like turn into passata and stuff, then it becomes a factory. If it's a farm, they just grow the food and then prepare it to be sent off. That's what I reckon it is. It's my guess.
That's a good guess. Because then it's a farm and it's a factory combined. Yeah. Guess we'll never know.
I thought he was typing into ChatGPT.
No, I googled farm etymology and there's a long paragraph that I didn't really want to read. I was looking at the comments on this article. Red sky at night, tomatoes in the morning. Not a great joke.
There's no one made the Aurora Borealis at this time of year.
No, maybe that was a bit over at the time. That was probably going around a bit much already. Like I remember when you could see the Northern Lights and everyone was taking photos. Could you see them in the Netherlands? We saw them here.
You could, but we missed them.
Yeah,
we didn't know it was happening, so we were asleep.
Yeah, I looked out the window and you can like faintly see it with your eyes. Like I could see like a very just very faint sort of streak in the sky. I'm like, oh, that must be it. But unless you were looking for, I'd never be walking down the street and go, whoa, Aurora Borealis. But you can obviously take the photo with your phone, do the long exposure. Yeah, and
it looks a lot better.
It looks amazing. Yeah, and everyone was posting the photos on their story, including me. And you just know that you didn't actually see that. That's just what your phone managed to pick up, but that's not actually what you saw.
Yeah, because when I was in Greenland, we saw the Northern Lights every night. But yeah, it was exactly that. It was just with the naked eye, like a very sort of faint, like ribbons in the sky. And as soon as you held your phone up, even without taking the photo, you could just hold your phone up and it looks like a million times better.
Yeah, I wonder like how good can they look in person? Because there's people that go to Iceland or Greenland and they, at the right time of year and the perfect circumstances, they say it looks amazing. But you can only see photos that people have taken, obviously, with a phone or with a camera to make it look better. So who knows?
Yeah, we'll never know. But at least you didn't see a tomato LED glow in the sky.
I don't think so. Although, if I'm walking around here at night and I'm walking along the banks of the Thames estuary, I can see Kent, obviously, on the other side. And directly opposite to me, there are some factories and like just industrial bits and bobs or whatever. And at night, they do have a glow around them. And I don't know what colours they are, but if you're walking at night, especially if it's a bit foggy, then you can see like these glowing areas. It looks quite nice. Like if you didn't know there was a factory there, if there were just some trees blocking the view, you might think, oh, that's a weird, phenomena in the sky. What's going on?
Curio going on.
Yeah, and if maybe you hadn't paid attention to it before, like I imagine this woman maybe didn't ever really look over there, like look out in the sky and look for the colours until this one night. Yeah.
It's a little...
Crazy. This is a news story, though.
I know, it must have been a slow news day that is.
Yeah.
There's something in there for the listeners. Always remember to look up, look around you. Whatever you're doing, you never know what's going to happen. Find the beauty in everyday life. Look for the tomato factories / farms.
That is a good point. Like, is it... So, you've got the northern lights, which are just a nice little glowing thing in the sky. And you've got lights from a tomato plant, which is a nice looking glowing thing in the sky. What is the difference between you see one and it's like a natural occurrence. You see the other one and it's not. It's tomato LEDs.
Mm.
But you're still experiencing the same thing. Like, she was probably, wow, that's like, she was like blown away. She saw it and probably felt like a real good feeling inside. But if she had known it was a tomato plant from the beginning, she wouldn't have. She would have been like, oh, that's just a tomato factory.
Mm.
But you're still seeing the same thing. It's only what you choose to like.
Isn't it?
It's how you choose to interpret those lights.
That's a good point.
Have you ever seen one of those drone LED displays?
Oh, like the one they do at like Ali Pali and...
Yeah.
I've never seen one in person. I know there might have been, I think last year, so in Nijmegen where we live, every year there's a big event called Vierdags, which is like a 4-day festival basically in the city. And at the end of that, or at the start, to launch it, they have a big fireworks display. And I think last year they used some drones in the for like a light show as well. But I've not seen like a proper full-on one, like the ones they do in London for New Year's and all that stuff.
Yeah, I went to the Ali Pali one this year. How was it? Palace for anyone. It was cool. It was like, so I went last year and it was just a firework display, and then went again this year and it was a drone. They did like a 10-15 minute drone show, and it does look cool because obviously you can't see the drones, so they're just LEDs in the air, so when they turn off you can't see them and then they'll just appear in a different place. They do look really cool. Once you've once you've seen them do a few different things, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. They can make anything. Like it doesn't blow you away if you know what to expect. But it was cool. But I was thinking, and we spoke about this on the podcast before, what would like a Roman man think if he just like, if I just like brought him from the past, or even just like even further back, even just like a caveman or something, or like someone from super long ago, an ancient Egyptian. They have the wherewithal to understand they go into the future. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take you into the future and show you something cool. They'll be like, okay, cool. And then you take them and you see like a drone, because they made it look like there was a UFO in the sky. Literally, like made it like, one of the things was they shaped it like a flying saucer and it like flew about, and then they had this real booming voice talking, like saying some like prophecy or something, and then they were doing these crazy arrangements, like a dragon flying through the sky, different animals. What would someone from 1,000 years ago think? Like,
they'd probably freak out,
blow them away.
Yeah, they'd probably think that you were like some messenger of the gods. You're taking them to, that was the god coming down in his UFO,
and like everyone's standing there with their phone as well. You'd like, an outsider who didn't understand would probably think that this is you like connecting with the gods. Yeah, like you're holding this glowing.
Yeah, it'd be like a ceremony. Hand. They'd probably think it was like some mad ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. Like you'd have no frame of reference.
And then you tell them that it's £8 a pint. And they're like, what the fuck?
Take me back now.
Yeah. Man. Inflation over 2,000 years.
£8 a pint.
Cool. I've got a story about Tesco.
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy, what was his name actually?
Should explain what Tesco is for our non...
Yeah, Tesco is a big supermarket. It's probably the best one, do you think?
I think it depends. So I think overall Tesco is the best one. But if you're looking for fish and seafood, Morrison's is a good... They have some interesting seafood. And then Asda might be a little bit cheaper. than Tesco, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think the UK is quite unique in its like amount of supermarkets that we have, right? Like, and I haven't spent a huge amount. I haven't lived in any other countries, but like a lot of countries I go to, like they have like obviously there's loads of supermarkets, but I think like the whole big 5 brands that are now we've got like 7 huge brands that people can go to. I think that's quite rare.
Yeah, because here we have Albertine, Co-op, Plus, Jumbo. They're like the big 4. So there's like 4 major ones, and Albertine's like the Tesco equivalent.
Yeah, and could you go to any of them exclusively, like, or do you have to like go here for this thing, go here for that thing? Because obviously here you can go to like you could live your whole life only shopping in Asda, only shopping in Sainsbury's, only shopping in Tesco, only shopping in M&S. Like you could, but I think sometimes you go to one supermarket like in Europe and you're like, oh, they don't really have this. Like I need to go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, like you have these Albertine XLs, they call it, and they're like the big ones, you know, like a UK size supermarket, and that's got everything in it. But then, if you go to a Co-op, there'll be like random stuff that you'd think they should have, but they just don't have it. They just don't stock it at all. So I don't know what they're probably all owned by the same company. That's always the way, isn't it? It's like 2 companies just own everything. It's just their way of marketing and creating like a little, what do you call it? Competitive.
Monopoly.
Yeah, monopoly.
Yeah. So this guy who goes by the name Chinese Mango on TikTok, he managed to run a marathon inside Tesco. So I guess also for people that don't live in the UK, we have big Tesco's. So Tesco is a supermarket. There's Tesco Express, which is a very little small one on the high street. You get just Tesco, I think. And then there's Tesco Extra, which is a really big one. You can buy everything. You can buy washing machines. You can buy clothes. You can buy food. There's a cafe, like everything.
Got my TV open. Tesco. A lot of them are 24 hours, right?
Yeah. I think it's like a meme, isn't it? Like, oh, I only came in for some bread and milk and I left with a whole new furniture set or whatever. But when we first moved, we did go into Tesco just to do like a little shop and we walked out of a TV because they had like a really good club card offer. And we were like, well, we need a TV, so let's just come out with a TV. So yeah, Chinese Mango managed to run a marathon inside a Tesco. He worked out that this Tesco, it was 8,000 square meters, and in perimeter it was 360 meters. So that meant he had to do 117 laps of the Tesco, which I didn't think seemed like a ridiculous amount. Like if you told me to guess how many times around a Tesco you got to run to be a marathon, I would have guessed maybe like 1,000 or like 600 or something like that.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the Tesco, I guess. But
yeah, 360 meters, this one.
I wonder what the biggest Tesco is in the UK.
So there is actually a TikTok page that
of course there is.
Does like the top 5 of this and that. Okay. So it might be like the top 5 most dangerous cities in the UK, and it will just like count them down. The top 5 towns with the most Gregs or something, or like all these different like things that are very UK centric, and one of them was the biggest Tesco's. I can't remember what the top Tesco was. I just remember the second one was in Goodmayes because that was my local big Tesco when I lived in Dagenham. So
claim to fame.
I have been multiple times to the second biggest Tesco in the country. So yeah, this guy, Chinese Mango, he basically just sort of rocked up, started jogging around, doing laps of the Tesco. It must be quite nice because as you're getting like quite hot, you end up running past like the refrigerated sections and stuff. Obviously, there was plenty of refreshments to buy along the way. Like you don't have to, in marathons, they've always got little water stations and stuff set up. You could just buy a bottle of Evian, carry on running.
Was this pre-planned, like approved by the Tesco, or was he just dodging?
No, it wasn't. So yeah, he started running, and he bought some bananas as well. There were some reduced bananas as well. He munched on some bananas as his fuel. After about 4 hours, he he stopped in the cafe and had a donut.
It's good. It's good marathon fuel, isn't it?
Yeah. So he started running. He got about 4 hours in, decided he needed a little bit of a break. I guess you're getting a bit tired. So he sat down and ate a donut. As he went to start running again, the security guard stopped him, asked him what he was doing. So he said, I'm running a marathon around Tesco. The security guard took him to the manager, and in the video, you can only, he's just filming, but pointing it at the floor to make it look like he's not filming. And you can just hear the manager say, "You can't run a marathon in here." And then it just cuts, and he's like, "But that didn't stop me." And he just carries on running again. So I don't know if he managed to get the approval, or if he just was like, "Okay, I'll leave," and then didn't. I don't know. But he ran around. It took him in total, he did finish it. It took him 8 hours and 25 minutes to run this marathon. So not a great time. I've never run a marathon, so I don't know how fast I would do it, but I know what's the average, 4 or 5 hours or so.
I think isn't a good time considered below 5 or something? I don't know.
I think, I guess it depends what you live, but I think, if you get below 5, I think for the average person, that would be really good. 8 hours, 25 minutes. At the end, he had a little, they run through the ribbon. He had some toilet roll going across the aisles, sort of ran through that. And then he must have got on the good side of the staff, because there is a Tesco staff member who awards him with a medal.
I've just seen that,
at the very end, yeah. But yeah, he says at the end, he's like, "Where should I run a marathon next?" So I don't know if this is going to be his thing now.
Should do it in a Tesco Express,
a really little one,
a tiny one, or just a Boss Man shop.
Oh yeah, where they've literally only got one aisle in the middle, so you just got to run round. That'd be 10,000 laps.
Oh god, that'd be purgatory, just stuck in some corner shop for that'd probably be 15 hours or something.
And there's constantly people come. Yeah, the corner shop over the road from me, I have never been in there and there not be someone weird in there. There's always someone who's just dropping their change all over the floor. They're buying the maddest mix of stuff. They're always just a bit off. And you're oh, okay. And they're always blocking up the aisle as well, because it's always so crammed in there. So you're walking in and you're squeezing past people. You could not run a marathon in there.
No, you'd have to have it pre-set up.
Yeah. Worth a go, though.
I'm trying to think what the best or the most difficult place to run a marathon would be. I think it might be a corner shop. The most
probably
inconvenient spot. Or a restaurant, a busy restaurant during service.
Yeah, an Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Because they're always so dense and
Italians.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, the Italians, restaurants near here, they're always the table. I said this to Rosie the other day. We went for a pizza. It's always pizza restaurants that have the smallest tables, despite the fact that pizza is the widest thing you can order. If you get if you go to any other restaurant, obviously it's served on a normal sized plate, and you can fit that on a tiny table. But you go to a pizza restaurant and the table's always so small, but the thing that you're ordering is now 12 inches wide. It's much wider than a plate is.
You need a little side table.
What is with
a
that?
trolley?
Yeah.
It's a good point. They should have. Well, you know what they could do? I think I've seen it on Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares a few times, where on the table the waiter brings over an elevated tray that goes on the table, so the pizza is in the middle of the table. So I guess it's for more if you're sharing.
Yeah, I don't share food.
Yeah, exactly. But if it was a huge pizza, a big pizza where it's big enough to share, you could do that, and you've still got your own plate and shit.
Well, yeah, we were at this restaurant and we both had a pizza. There was a jug of water and then the 2 glasses of water, and then I ordered a beer, she ordered a wine, and then they brought over a little chili oil. There was no room for anything else on this table. There was no room. If I wanted to order some more, a salt shaker could not fit on this table. Ridiculous.
It's like table Jenga.
Yeah, it was good pizza though.
Speaking of your marathon story, right? I had another story that also involves a marathon.
Oh, yeah.
And on top of that, also involves a Chinese person. I don't know if Chinese mango was actually Chinese or whether that was just their...
I don't know either. I can't tell.
I'm going to say that he's Chinese because his name is Chinese Mango.
Yep.
I had another story. A Chinese marathon runner disqualified for chain smoking during the entire race.
Why is that not allowed?
You tell me. But, apparently this marathon had some rules in place. Not only was he chain smoking the whole way, right, but he was 52 years old. So he was a 52-year-old marathon runner, which is already impressive.
Mm.
And he completed it. Do you want to take a guess as to how quickly he ran this marathon whilst chain smoking?
2 hours, 52 minutes.
It was 3 hours and 3 hours 33 minutes, which is pretty good.
That's a good time. Yeah. Yeah, I went for the sub 3 is ridiculous. If it was sub 3 hours. That's impressive.
Yeah. But so he was chain smoking the whole time. He's called Uncle Chen.
Nice.
And this was during the Xiamen Marathon. I'm probably butchering that. Xiamen. Xiamen. In the Xiamen Marathon in China earlier this year. But apparently all his effort has been for naught as he's been disqualified. Smoking on the track was the reason for disqualification. And the marathon committee, they issued a statement announcing the disqualification, saying that he'd violated one of the articles of the race rules, which states uncivilized behaviour from runners, such as open defecation, smoking, or trampling on flower beds or green spaces that affect the race and the safety of other runners, will result in disqualification. Now, I question why open defecation is so prominently featured.
Well, I guess that does happen, doesn't it? People shit themselves.
But open defecation, like just shitting on the ground. Surely people go like behind a bush or something.
No, people shit themselves like mid-stride in marathons.
Awful.
Because I guess it's never solid.
Yeah, because of all like the gels and stuff.
Yeah, I think they're just like the adrenaline. And, like, you know when you have a nervous poo?
Yeah.
Never a great one, is it? So like if you've got all that adrenaline and stuff and then I think it just comes out.
It's a bit harsh to be disqualified for that if you've got a dicky
belly.
I've got a friend who's big into running, and a few times he's had to have a shit whilst out running.
Yeah. Managed to find somewhere?
I think he just squatted in bushes
and
then had to ditch his pants. Had to use the pants to have a wipe.
And then get rid of them.
Yeah. Awful.
I can see that happening to me if I was in that position. Like, I think I'm just not made to run, so I think my body would reject it. Like when you get an organ put in you, and it's like, nah, that ain't for me. Running's not for me either.
You never know. You might get bang into it. I mean,
maybe.
Marathons aren't for me. I like running, but yeah, marathons just, yeah.
I've always said if I do a marathon, I'm not telling people about it or putting it online. I want to be the one person who can run a marathon and not tell people. Yeah. And I wonder how many people would still do a marathon if you weren't allowed to tell anyone about it.
So this is exactly what... So I did this discussion with my friend who quite often we sort of discuss my... Because he always tries to get me to go running with him. And, I always refuse because I see running as like a solo thing. I just like going out with my headphones in and just de-stressing. So the idea of going to like this big event where there's loads of people and it's just not. I don't associate that with running at all, and I don't see it as like a like I need to beat or like win. Like I don't see the need to get like a fast time as like a real goal.
You're just doing it to like be healthy and feel good and like, do your thing. Yeah.
So I asked him, so like, what is your main reason for doing a marathon? And one of them, he said, so it's because I can challenge myself to do it. And I was like, okay, yeah, so you want to push yourself. But then I said, that's not the only reason, right? Like you also just like knowing, other people knowing that you've run a marathon. And he like tried to dodge the question. It looked a bit sheepish and then just admitted it. He said, and like part of it for him is the feeling of being able to say to people that he's done a marathon and he's running in front of all these people, and which I get, it's obviously probably a nice burst for your ego or whatever. But I just find it so when people get well into things like running, it becomes a bit wanky, in my opinion. Everyone wears all the stupid glasses and running vests, and that's when it goes too far for me. And then
I feel like sometimes the runners can look down on people who don't run.
That's what
they think. Yeah. Well, this is why. I was saying the other day, if I do get into running, and I feel like I want to run a marathon just to see if I can do it, I'm not even going to sign up to a marathon. I'm not going to try and get in the London Marathon or whatever. I'm just going to go out on my own.
Yeah, just do run. Just do a marathon. Just do it. Not organised. Yeah.
Like I'll just do it. I'll be like, oh, okay, I can do it now. Yeah. Maybe if it comes up in conversation, someone says, would you ever do a marathon? I'll be like, oh yeah, I did do one. It was fine, whatever. But I'm not going to be posting about it. Keep it to yourself. No one cares. This
friend of mine also sees Strava as a social media app. So he treats it more as like a social media app, as a way of talking to people and like showing off his times and shit, rather than just, because I just see it as I just keep track of when I run and blah blah blah. But he probably sees it as like over Instagram or over Twitter. That is his bit of social media. He's got like running on the brain 24/7.
Yeah, that is crazy. Like I get the point of it. Like you post your runs on Strava, and then other people are like, "Oh wow, that's a good time." And then maybe you're trying to compete with other people. Like if you've got like a close group of friends, you're trying to beat each other's run. But I don't know, like people leaving all these comments like, "Wow, great run, man!" Like, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
That's strange. It's like anything though, like any sport, I guess, or any hobby or thing. You get like these closed communities, and I guess there's always a risk of going into that sort of wanky side of it, taking things a bit too seriously, and be it that sort of exclusivity of certain things. That's what I don't like. So I don't go to the gym because I have the
That's why I refuse to have any hobbies.
I don't do anything. I stay in my house, Once every 4 months I come onto the Curio cast, right? But yeah, I don't like that whole exclusivity thing, people feeling superior because they're they're in the know about something.
Yeah. But, the thing is, when I get into a hobby, I do really get into it. Like I will be proper invested, and it does take up a lot. And that's why I do have to choose like my hobbies carefully, I guess. Like I don't want to start this because then I'll get really into it. But I'm not much of a poster when it comes to like things online, I guess, other than like this podcast. But like I'm not the type of person to like join in the community. I might read like the Reddit pages and read the little community things, but I'm not the type to like get in and like make new running friends or make new like chess friends or whatever it is. Like I'll do my own thing.
See, chess I could get into. I could get into like the like an exclusive wanky club of chess. That'd be good.
Well, I started playing chess like a year or two ago, and just like the chess app on the phone is good. Chess.com is a good website. Just playing it, and then I'm watching these videos on like how to do better. Then I'm joining like the subreddit of people talking about it. And then Rosie's brother-in-law, he likes playing it, and he's really competitive as well. So we're both like staying up late, just playing games like over and over, just playing games just one after the other. And then I realized I was just spending way too much time playing chess, like because I hate not being good at it. So if I start playing it and there's people better than me, which there obviously is, it pisses me off. So I'm like, well, I need to get better. Like I can't let him be better than me. So that's why I don't run.
It's a fair point. It's a fair
Can't
point.
let that be me. No.
But do you walk? Because you know what they say, you got to run before you can walk.
That's true. Yeah, need to start running.
Wise man said that.
A better walker.
What's your opinion on Jake Paul and Mike Tyson? By the way.
Oh yeah, that was the other night for us. I didn't actually watch it, and I'm glad I didn't because apparently it wasn't that entertaining. So I saw some clips. Like I was expecting to go to sleep and then wake up and be like, Jake knocked him out, and like there'd be a cool clip of Mike Tyson getting knocked out or something. but there wasn't. Yeah, I mean, he got fucking paid. Great marketing, great hype. It is a bit of a ridiculous fight. Like, Mike Tyson is so old now. Like, 58 is old age to be boxing, especially like a 26-year-old who's like jacked, and he's a good boxer.
I feel like because there's obviously all people saying it was rigged, and it wasn't, because it wasn't like a very. I didn't really watch the fight, but from what I understand, it wasn't like a very action-filled fight. You know, there wasn't any really big hits, and obviously Mike Tyson didn't really give him any big hits or anything. So obviously, a lot of people were saying it was just rigged. You know, it was all just an entertainment bout, and it was just purely to get paid. Which, yeah, probably. But I don't like the idea of Mike Tyson being beaten by Jake Paul. You know, even if it was on decision. Don't know. I hate it.
Yeah. Did you see the clip of his butt cheeks?
Yeah, that's the only good thing that came out of it. That little clip of the interview. Oh, it's so fucking funny.
So funny because I watched the video. Like I just opened Twitter in the morning and I saw like, oh my god, I didn't think I'd see that. Like, and I didn't know what. And I clicked, and it's like a 1.5-minute video, and it was him just being interviewed. I think by his son, right? And like,
yeah,
I'm listening to the interview. I'm waiting for him to say something ridiculous, but he's not. He's just saying like, yeah, gonna go out there and like do my thing, and. All right, love you, son. Yeah, thanks for the interview. And he walks away. He's just got his butt. Well, I don't know what he was wearing. What even is that? Like, it just covers up the front. Yeah.
Don't know if it's a special like boxing pants.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just needed to like cool down or something. Like,
but I just love the, you know, it's like something out of a comedy film because it's just so flat. Like,
it's like Hank Hill. Like, Did he think that the cameras were going to be off, or did he not care? Is he at that old man age where you don't care, like the old man in the gym locker room, like just with his balls
Mike Tyson
out?
Doesn't care.
Yeah,
why you're Mike Tyson? Like, why would you care about? Yeah, he's in great shape.
Might not care.
Doesn't give a fuck, does he? Like, did you see that interview? He was being interviewed by a little girl, and I can't remember what question she was asking, but he like basically just told her that we're all dead.
Oh,
you know, like gave like a really deep sort of philosophical answer, and like the girl's face, you could just see her face just like drop when the realization that, you know,
he starts getting really like not spiritual, but like philosophical about it, and he's just like, well, we're all just meaningless. Like, our lives mean nothing. He goes, we're just here in space. Like, we're just pieces of dust. Our life is just a speck in the whole grand scheme of the universe. So yeah, so what? I'll just go out there and fight. Like. He goes, yeah, people think I'm some special kind of person, but I'm not. I'm just another, like, living being. We're all just animals. And she's like, okay, thanks. She's, like, super, like, upbeat, TikTok-y type girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Probably doesn't even really know who he is, like,
yeah, probably.
In the grand scheme.
That's the annoying thing for me, because Mike Tyson, he's sort of, wouldn't say he's, like, ruined his legacy, but I feel like he's tainted his image for like lots of younger people because you know, he's like this legend, and when you look back at clips of him before, you know, he's like a proper animal as a boxer, and like really, really just hardcore. And then I think I was expecting him to be just go out and just fucking muller Jake Paul, to be honest. I thought he was just going to go mental and just completely just batter him. So it's just a big disappointment. I feel like maybe his image is different now for a lot of young people.
I think so. I think you're right, because like it's like Muhammad Ali, right? We're too young to have seen Muhammad Ali fight, like especially like at his prime. And in my mind, and probably in your mind, you know, he's like, oh, a legend. He's like, he was the best. Like, he's so like, he was quick-witted. He was smart. He was like great in the ring. And you're like, even if you're not like massively into boxing, you're still like, that's a legend, because he didn't, when he was in his 50s, fight like a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And even though like he obviously ended up getting Alzheimer's or whatever, and at the end he wasn't in like the best state, but he never ruined his own reputation with like something that he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess Mike just doesn't. Mike's such a different person now to what he used to be. Like,
yeah.
And he's been on quite a few podcasts, and he talks about how like when he was at that age, he was just constantly angry, and he was genuinely was like a violent person, and that's what made him like such a good boxer.
And
it's funny,
really interesting. I always love like listening to Mike Tyson interviews.
Yeah,
like really, really.
And now he's just very much like, what's the point in fighting, man? He's like, why? He's like, why are you going to do that to your brain? And like, he's just like, I just want to take it easy. He's like, you know, he sells weed.
Yeah,
like,
just gets high all the time.
Gets high all the time.
Was it Steve-O that got completely fucked up with Mike Tyson on cocaine or something? I'm sure I've seen him
Sounds
on
right.
one of.
He's been on Steve-O's podcast.
Yeah, I think it might have been on that podcast, and they were talking about a party at someone's house where they stayed in a room together for like 2 days, just like at someone's house, and the whole table was just cocaine. Like the whole table was just full of cocaine. They just didn't leave the room for 2 days. I imagine that set of circumstances bringing you to that point where you're just doing cocaine with Mike Tyson, who at that point was probably, I don't know, 30 late 30s maybe,
that would have been like
still sort of in his prime, maybe just out of, you know, still like
it'd be like party
unit.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know. He's embracing the modern.
Yeah,
modern
and I mean,
media,
he got $20 million from that fight.
Crazy
that Jake got more than him as well. Like, obviously, he is like the legend, but he got 20 million and Jake got 40.
It's nuts.
It's absolutely mad.
$40 million.
For one night, yeah.
Would you? Obviously, you know, if we got into the boxing ring with Mike Tyson, now as a 58-year-old, just now, like if it was just me now, no training, or maybe give me like 2 days to just like learn some basic boxing moves.
Yeah.
Would you get into the boxing ring with Mike Tyson to fight for like $1 million?
$1 million,
yeah.
Not 40 million that Jake
Not
got.
40 million, because I mean 40 million is like a no-brainer, right? I think
Yeah, it's hard because like your instinct's like I think I can survive however many, like, you know, what did they do? They did 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like 16 minutes is all you need to survive in like little breaks. But all it takes is one good hit and he can like disable you.
Yeah.
Like, or kill you. Like, they had those big padded gloves apparently, like the 14-ounce gloves mean that it's like less likely to cause like severe damage. But he could batter you.
Yeah. And like now,
obviously, £1 million is worth nothing if you're if you're like, if your quality of life is now like wrecked.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, it'd be terrifying as well.
But yeah, I'd do it. Do I get more if I win? Do I get $2 million if I win?
That's it. Yeah. We'll say that. Double your money if you win.
All right. Yeah.
How tall is he? 5'10".
Oh, that's my height. Same height. There you go. Easy.
Easy. It must be mental being punched by Mike Tyson, like in his prime as well.
Email in if you have any experience being punched by Mike Tyson, or if you are Mike Tyson. Email us in, and how easy will you go if we set up $1 million boxing match?
How are we going to raise
tax free? I'm not paying taxes on that £1 million.
Okay, we'll have to do it in Monaco or somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere that doesn't have income tax.
Where's like the shittest place you don't pay tax? Obviously, like Saudi Arabia is quite expensive to set up a boxing match. But it must be like some really shit place.
Don't know. Why are companies set up in like Ireland? That's a thing. Not that Ireland's shit, but it's really close.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because it's
they pay like less tax.
European maybe or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. If you know any of those answers, let us know. Email us in. Leave a comment. You can leave a comment on YouTube and on Spotify now. So if you're listening on Spotify, quickly open up, leave a comment. Tell us how stupid we've been this episode.
And what your favourite big brand of superstores is in the UK.
Yeah, where do you shop? Why is Tesco the best?
Oh yeah, and tell us why Rob's a prick as well.
That was Curio episode 112.